How you doing? Welcome to the Golf Chat. My name is James Whittaker. I'm joined by James Savage, equipment editor of National Club Golfer, and we're going to be doing a real good test today.
We are. This is proper geeky stuff.
This is
for you tech heads out there.
This is well, and for all the pros out there as well. I think this is really interesting for the PGA pros or any club fitter. So we've got a Trackman 4, which we've been using for our testing so far, and all our videos, and we've got the brand new GC Quad, which we saw at the Orlando Golf Show.
Yeah, we did.
And there was a massive buzz about it over there, wasn't it? It was kind of...
Yeah, there was. We go to Orlando every year. Traditionally, it was where people would launch new products. To be honest with you, I didn't see a hell of a lot of new product that stuff I hadn't seen before. But one thing that properly launched at the PGA Show was the Foresight GC Quad. Went to the stand at demo day. It was buzzing on the stand at the PGA Show. It was buzzing as well. It was definitely one of the hot products at the show, which was why we were really keen to get it back here to the shack and test it out. Yep.
Before we do get the big hitter on it, just go and see my interview with Justin and hear all about it.
Yeah, find out a little bit more how the GC Quad works, what the technology is, and what it's going to do.
Good stuff.
How you doing, guys? Welcome to the Foresight stand. I'm joined by Justin Sandler, and we have the brand new GC Quad, which is looking very, very fancy.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's this bringing to the table?
So our GC Quad now quadrascopic cameras.
Yep.
We've got the 4 cameras which are going to directly measure club and ball.
Yeah.
The way it's going to work is basically, depending on club speed and ball speed, the camera's going to lock onto different parts of the golf club, taking up to 200 images.
Okay.
Giving you information, angle of attack, path, speed, and also impact location. Impact location is one of the most important parts of everything. We can also give you the dynamic loft, pre-impact, which is hugely important because obviously through impact you've got deflection of the golf club, which can obviously change the lay angle. So amazing bit of technology.
Yeah.
It's also got a thermometer on it.
Yeah.
So the thermometer, so you take it outside, it will basically know what temperature it is, and then it'll obviously be able to get the distance more accurately.
Okay, so you're trading with a real-time piece of kit all the time.
Absolutely, yeah, completely.
So this is getting put into play by some of the big players?
Yeah, we've had we had a really successful time last week out in Hawaii. We had a lot of the players testing it, absolutely blown away. We've got a couple more players next week now testing it. And a lot of our competitors, the people who've been using our competitor stuff, have been coming over and just checking it out, and the advancements that we've been putting in place have just blown everyone away. The other thing with the quad itself, it's actually Ethernet.
Okay.
So what you can now do with the new iPad app, which is coming out in the next couple of days, you can have 10, 20 people all log into the quad. So if you're doing a seminar or group lesson, they can all see the numbers on their own iPad. And then basically all of that can get saved up into the cloud as well.
Bit of banter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic. Get on the simulator and see who wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with the simulator, everything is cloud-based now. So each of your own clients are going to have their own account. So they can then go on, they can play, do your lessons, your fittings. They can then go online when they get home, check where they are in the world standings, and just a lot more banter, and just having the opportunity to be able to see how they're getting on with their mates, and if they're losing, they're going to come back to your place and say, come on, let's get them going.
Great stuff.
So really good fun.
Justin, thank you very much for your time.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Great. Thanks for popping by. Cheers.
Okay, so we've got our little hitting area set up here. This is pretty cool. We've got your Trackman there directly behind the ball. We've got the GC Quad there, side on. It's got some information on the screen which tells you exactly where to put the ball, which is sort of just behind. So it's got the 4 cameras there which are going to take the pictures, give us all the details about the club. Also on the GC Quad, we're measuring strikes. So we've got these dots here on the clubs on the pitch and wedge, 6-iron and driver. So we get all the strike data. We can see whether it's been hit out the heel, hit out the toe, hit right out the middle. We've got the numbers coming up. There's a lot going on here. we've got numbers from the GC Quad coming up here on the iPad. We've got numbers from the Trackman on the screen here. We're going to be screencasting the whole lot, so we can bring you a good conclusion. We're going to start off with a pitching wedge. Going to hit 5 shots with that. 6-iron, 5 shots. Driver, 5 shots, and just sort of casually observing at this stage any differences between the numbers. Then we'll get into them a little bit more details afterwards. So take it away.
Okay.
So we've got data all over the place at the moment, which is what we like. Now, from your, you're a dedicated Trackman user. What is it that you've liked about Trackman? What's been good about it for you and your fitting and your teaching?
I've used it for 7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years, yeah.
And I've just seen it progress. Just the data it gave me from a fitting, but I used it straight away from a fitting point of view. That's what I started with, and then it's kind of got into, the club information, learnt more about it. So I like the way it's presented on the screen, and it's
been a good tool for you down the years. Yeah,
very much so. Yeah, so I kind of started as a fitter and then worked into tuition, so it's been good. But interested to see what this new bit of kit's got to offer.
Well, just from seeing the carry numbers there, what we're seeing so far, we're seeing pretty much centred strikes, and we're seeing a very consistent number there: 137, 136, 137.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting to see. We've seen a little bit. Just seen a little bit more spin on the GC quad there, but we're not talking massive amounts.
No.
So this is a good fair test that we're doing here as well, isn't it? Because we're outside. Trackman is tracking the ball.
Yeah. We've normalised it.
Yeah.
So they're both kind of as close as we can get them anyway.
Yep. There we go, 138.
So should we get him to hit one off the toe? Just try and mix out the strike, because it's a bit boring seeing a guy hit it straight out the middle all the time.
We're getting very bored with you hitting it out the middle, so if you could please...
You are good, we know you're good. So yeah, toe would be brilliant.
Yeah. Because this is where we might see some of the main differences between the performance of the GC Quad and of the Trackman, because we're measuring the strike.
Yeah.
We can say, well, we know that was hit out the heel. This is what it did to the numbers, and we can see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounded pretty horrible, which is what we wanted.
Yeah, Trackman looks at the back of the club.
Yeah.
So it's always, that's right off the toe there. So yeah, it's always looking at centre strike, whereas the GC2, the quad, will give us a little bit more info on the strike.
If we could get one out the heel, then I guess that gives us a nice mix for this first club, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hopefully we've got that nicely towards the heel.
That was a bit too good, though.
That was a little bit too out of the middle. So we just have one more. Once we've got that heel strike, then we can move on, because I think it'll be fair with each club if we've got a decent number out the middle, and we've got at least one out the heel and one out the toe. And what I think is going to be very interesting to see is, we've got pitching wedge, 6-iron, driver, so we've got a good mix of launch conditions, spin numbers. And how a heel strike on the driver would have compared to an iron, all things like that. That should. No, don't think we've quite got that. One more, please.
Didn't get it.
So this is the problem with this guy, asking him to hit bad shots.
It's impossible, isn't it?
It's just not in his.
It's
not in his DNA.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. So we've actually got 9 shots there, but there's some good data there. Let's move on to
the
6-iron. So just tell Trackman that we've moved on to the 6. Now we need to tell the Foresight software that we're also moving on to the 6-iron. This is where James is slightly out of his comfort zone because he's never used this before. So
it's really hard.
No, so we're good. So let's try doing that again. Then let's try get 3 out the middle, 1 out the heel, 1 out the toe with the 6-iron. 6-iron carry numbers. I think this guy's looking at about 180.
Yeah, easy 180. But he'll be a bit under pressure after Randy over in the US bombing it out there.
I'll So that might have been a little bit towards the heel. Whisper it quietly. No, that's good. Yeah. So 188 according to GC Quad.
Let's see what that's done on there, if that's all right. Interesting.
188 on Trackman.
Yeah.
Oh, hands off the club.
Ooh.
This is good though. I'm liking this
this
variety of strike. I think it's really going to make the results a bit more interesting. Now, from my initial observations, I've not seen anything wacky in terms of difference between Trackman and GC2. We may see a little bit more difference when we get to driver. Don't know. Like I said, this is a.
So that's out of the middle. That's a 193. Big thing for me is 192. Big thing for me is the carry number.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's what the Trackman's all about. It just tracks the ball all the way.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing here is the same digit all the time.
So if we're seeing here, what we're seeing is that the quad is doing a very good job of calculating the distance. Just from that shortish space that it's taking the pictures.
Yeah. Can we get one off the toe then, please? Please. Deafening silence there.
You are? Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, off the toe. He's good at this one off the toe.
He loves a bit of a toe strike, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got that one. Right, let's have a look at that one. Okay, there is a slight difference towards the heel. Just want to pop on here.
Yeah. Should have been pretty good, that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's towards the heel, that's good. Happy with those with the 6-iron?
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
Okay then, let's hit some with the driver. Right, let's just tell Trackman and tell GC2 that we're going to be hitting driver. Yeah, no, I think what you've said there and what I've noticed as well, the carry numbers do seem very similar between the two, and obviously that's a plus point for the quad, I guess. Let's see if there's any discrepancies with hitting driver.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, from my personal experience of hitting the old regular GC2, I don't know whether you've had the same. I don't know whether this is a thing or just for me. I felt that GC2 was a little bit more generous.
Okay.
That was just something that I found.
In terms of what?
In terms of carry, I found Trackman was quite penal on.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be me because I hit it bad, but I could get numbers up to 250, 260 on GC2, whereas Trackman I'd sort of struggle to get that high. That was a pretty decent shot.
Yeah, let's see how this moves here.
Yeah, good centered strike, that. Good spin.
Let's just have a look at it. So it's 284 on here.
284 on the quad.
281.
281. I mean, that's nothing, is it? That's pound for pound.
No, it's not your 250 variance to 230, is it?
I think it's just me. But this is a new bit of kit, this is improved. Wow.
300 on that one. That's a great strike.
Yeah, just
such a good strike.
Slightly higher, which is
okay,
probably
so
a little bit more out the sweet spot,
there,
which is what we've seen.
Okay, that's good. Like that. So Trackman's failed to pick it up there, but we've got some real good strike data there from GC2. Okay, that'll be a good one as well to see.
Yeah, that one might be towards the. Do you think that one might have been a little bit towards the toe, the strike, because we've seen that ball gearing a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm just going to see the distance on here again.
Yeah, we can see the strike there on that one was a little bit more to the toe, which
274.
You know, I mean, things like that are good for me to see, because we've seen the ball moving that way. We've looked at the thing. Why is the ball doing that? He's struck it a little bit, you know, towards the toe.
Yeah. So I'm just going to move this around.
Nice shot. He's on form today, isn't he?
Yeah, he's looking good.
Bit of 300 carry and -2 degrees, I think is pretty decent.
So attack angle 1.4 up here, just 0.4 there. Let's see how far that carried, 289. Let's have a bit of a nosy. 285. So seen about 4 yards difference, pretty regularly, which is not a lot, is it?
Should we?
Can you get neck one?
Let's have a couple more.
Try and smile about it. Hey, come on.
I know if I had to drive 300 yards, I'd be doing cartwheels.
It's about -5, and he's carrying it 300 yards, and he's pulling his face.
I mean, not that people care, but it is so cold. It's absolutely freezing at the moment.
Okay, let's get that one up here.
What do you reckon? That one might have been a bit heely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. 264. Great, okay.
Ooh.
Jeez,
That was
a bit of anger in that one. I think you upset him. Hey?
That's what you got to do. You got to wind him up.
Look at that, straight
out the toe.
Piece of string, isn't he? 271 off the toe, rubbish. Right.
So we had
274. Okay, right. Should we go and analyse this data?
Okay, so good hitting session there with anonymous big hitter, loads of shots with the pitching wedge, 6-iron and driver, and now we've got masses of data to go through. You're going to have to bear with us a little bit because we haven't had a lot of time to really digest this. We've just had a quick scan through, seeing if anything's been jumping out at us. So let's have a look at the pitching wedge numbers first here.
Yeah.
James, anything jumping out at you from the first stage?
No, so I mean the quad sets it up into ball data and club data.
Okay.
So if we start on ball data.
Okay.
And personally, what I would believe and what I've been led to believe is that Trackman would perform better on ball data.
Yeah, because it's actually tracking the
ball. Yeah. So this is a real interesting one for me on the how the quad performs against the Trackman on these numbers.
Okay.
With the pitching wedge, if you go through it there, I mean, if we just look at the averages, we were just talking about there, your spin rate, your carry, launch angle, they're all very, very similar.
I mean, your spin rate's kind of within 100 RPM.
100 RPM.
When that's nothing, is it?
No, we've got a launch angle of 25.4, we've got a 25.6, which is so close, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then we've got speed, within 1 mile an hour.
Yeah, I mean, carry is a big one, isn't it? That you want to look at from your point of view, or as for people when they're talking about gapping and things like that. They want to know how far their club's going. I guess it's maybe one before where you might have expected to see some quite a big difference, but you see their average 131. If you go through the numbers, there's never really anything more than a couple. Like your average is 130 on your GC Quad, 131 on there. So it's a yard.
Yeah.
It really isn't anything that's gonna. Nothing that jump out of there that would make you have any concerns about the GC Quad data that you've given.
No,
and then
that's really impressed me. That's something that that was something I was questioning.
Yep.
And the quad's really stepped up there. Yeah, that's been very good.
And something that I've mentioned before, where I'd thought that potentially the old GC2 might have been a little bit more generous.
Yeah.
What they've actually done with the GC Quad is they've got a thermometer in there, so they know how cold it is, things like that. So it's testing in the same fair way as the Trackman is now, and I think that's another reason possibly why we're not seeing any difference in the carry numbers. So that's a massive plus. And then almost a bonus that you get with the GC Quad is then you've got that ball data, and then you go into the club data. And from what I'm seeing, this is the area where we're starting to see more discrepancies in between what Trackman's saying and what the GC quadders say,
yeah,
which I kind of expect to see. If you think about the GC Quad, that's a load of cameras taking it, and that can see where the ball's actually impacting on the club, so you can see a little bit more. Trackman, it's behind. Obviously, when the ball comes into impact, Trackman can't see what the ball's doing. It sees what the ball does, and then kind of says, well, if the ball's doing that, then it must have done this on the face. So we're getting a few little bits of difference, aren't we? And things like the face to path sort of numbers on there, a little bit different.
The face to path, the attack angle, they are different.
Let's just pick one out then. For example, let's have a quick look.
Well, let's go at attack angle.
Attack angle, yeah. We've got an average of minus 5.5 there.
Yeah, but we have had a couple of funky readings there. Like one was 7.2, but it's only reading 5.3 on the Trackman. So 2 degrees is an awful lot.
Yeah.
Just on one club there, one shot, that's gonna vary. Then the path and the face to path numbers.
Yeah, so there are some quite differences, as you can see there, between things like attack angle and your club path and things like that. So obviously from a teaching and a fitting point of view, that's key. Yeah, the
way I've always seen it, Trackman ball data, and then GC2 with the HMT, really improved the club data. Now the quad has got the overall package so far. So
and like we're seeing there, if there's not much difference between the ball data and we think that the club data is a bit more reliable on the GC. Okay, so let's move on to look at some of these 6-iron numbers again. Let's look at some of the ball data first, where we're looking at things like ball speed, spin, carry. Again, the numbers are so close here, aren't they?
Really impressive. So ball speed 128, and we go into there 128, which is great numbers. Backspin 5.6, 5.5. Well, if you round that off, that's 5.6 as well.
Yep.
We're looking carry 183 on average. That's really impressive for me with a 6-iron. It's exactly.
And if you just sort of like look like for like as well with each individual shot, you're never really noticing anything more than sort of like 2 or 3 yards difference in carry. So
and launch angles.
16,
it's half a degree out. It's really tight. That's impressive.
Yeah.
So if we go on to the club data, should we look at attack angle?
Yep.
We've got quite a difference here.
Yeah, there might have been some funky readings in there, mightn't there? With some of those degrees. But if you look at the ones that look like were sort of like proper shots. Yeah, 3.7, 4.2.
Yeah.
So they're not huge differences, but they are quite significant. We're not talking about spin numbers. We're talking about 5,000-6,000. We're talking about angles of sort of 4.
Yeah.
So when you're sort of half a degree out, that's quite a big deal, isn't it? When it comes to attack angle.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at the driving numbers, which for me. One thing I thought was going to be very interesting was how the strike on the driver impacted the shot and the numbers, because if you think about the head of a driver, a heel or a toe strike on there, I think it's going to have a significant impact on ball flight and numbers. So let's just get those driving numbers up there. Let's just look at some of the ball data then first. Let's look at the ball speed. We've got an average of 165 there with the Trackman.
164 on average, so very tight. Launch angle 11.5, 11.6, so that's really impressive. Backspin 2.5, 2.4, so really good. And then average carry we've got 281, 276. What I did see there was the average carry seemed to be about 4 or 5 yards difference.
Okay.
With the driver and the quad. So, but it's not
again.
Huge.
There are no numbers like there that are causing any concern about thinking that the GC Quad's not tracking, not the data it's capturing is not a representative of what the ball's actually doing. It's backing it up it's solid. Yeah.
So that's good. So we move on to the club data.
Yeah.
On the driver, so we don't. This is the one we'd want to see a little bit of a variance. So attack angle there, our average attack angle on this number here was 1.3 on the way up. With Trackman, it's a negative.
So that's down on it.
Yes, so that's completely the opposite.
I mean that as a teacher and a fitter, that's going to cause you a concern, isn't it? Because if you see they're a minus angle, you might say to the pupil, try hitting it on the up a little bit, and it's like, well, actually they're already hitting it on the up a little bit, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, we hear all the time, don't we, on videos how to hit the ball further, but you've got to hit it on the way up.
Yeah.
And if Trackman's spitting out a number that is a negative, but that's a false number.
Yeah, and you're telling someone to change their technique when actually they might already be doing it all right, and that could have a negative impact on the way that they're doing things.
Doing so, yeah. But then obviously because that's a negative, then we're going to talk about club path and the face to path. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with it being a negative or being a positive, that's the path has to be different.
Yeah.
And it is here. So we've got a club path here of average of 5.1 left.
Yep. And we've got here
3.8.
3.8 to
so,
left.
you know, that's quite a lot from someone like the big hitter as well. I mean, he's a good player.
Yeah.
You know, that's quite a variance, really.
It is, yeah.
And then we've got a face to path of 1.4, 0.8. That's not that big a difference.
No.
But
we're definitely seeing here. There are bigger differences here with the club data than there are with the ball data. There's nothing in that ball data that you can really pick out at all, is there? When you're talking spin, carry, speed, which are the things you look at. You know, if you're testing a new driver, you want to see how far it carries. You want to see the ball speed.
Yeah.
No difference there.
No.
So that's fine. But I'm guessing for a teaching pro like yourself,
yeah.
You know, when you want to be...
Strike's massive, isn't it? I mean, that's what we're all working on, and we're getting all of the numbers are different. Mm-hmm. You know, more, and they're definitely so. That's quite alarming. That's a negative number, and that's a positive. So, you know, that's a different type of strike, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just would want to mention that the way I'd always thought about it was that I thought that Trackman performs best when we're outside, because it's tracking the ball and see what's doing, whereas GC2, don't know about the quad, but the GC2 from what I found in my experience was indoors. It didn't matter as much whether you're indoors or outdoors with GC2, as I found Trackman indoors could be a little bit funky. But we're actually in a situation here where we're actually giving Trackman the best opportunity to perform because we are outside, and the fact that we're in this situation and we're sort of questioning some of the bits of the performance is quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah,
I mean we've got a swing studio here at Moor Allerton, and we did try it.
Oh, you've already done some GC2 testing indoors.
Yeah, so we put the quad inside, we put the Trackman inside, and the numbers were all over the place.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very interesting. So I haven't got those that data to show you, but that might be something we follow this video up with.
Okay, so just from your point of view, I'm going to put you on the spot now because you always do it to me. You say, "Is that club going in your bag?" What are you thinking in terms of your business, of your fitting? Are you tempted to switch from the Trackman to the GC Quad, or you need to think about it a little bit more?
At the minute, I think Quad's caught up Trackman.
Okay.
Because Quad's always the Quad GC2 and with the HMT in terms of what it was information on the face and the strike was always better than Trackman.
Yep.
From now that I've studied it and started to learn a little bit more about it, so I think that's always been its strong point. Trackman was always better for me at giving the ball data. But we've just proved it there that Quad is exactly the same. So if I've got one thing that's given me, it's an overall package at the end of the day. So I can't say anything else, can I? Quad's the winner there for me.
Okay, that's very interesting to say. If you're watching this video, just take a look back at the numbers, because we think it's really important for you guys out there, club golfers, to get as much knowledge and information about your game, the way you deliver the club when you're buying a new driver. Look at things like ball speed. Launch monitors are a huge part of golf now. People are out like we are on YouTube doing testing, and it can be a lot of data for you to take in, but it's really important that you do try and understand it, because ultimately it's going to help you, with your golf game.
Definitely, yeah.
If you can understand what the club's doing, if you can understand what the ball's doing, understand what the technology is doing in the club. When we talk about moving CG around, we talk about putting weights in the heel, weights in the toe, all that kind of thing. It's all giving you information and knowledge about your golf to help you play better golf. We hope that this hasn't completely blown your mind and said, there's too many numbers, I don't know what's going on. We hope you found it interesting. We've certainly found it interesting. As long-time Trackman users, we've dabbled with GC2 before. this has given us a lot of food for thought about our testing, moving forward, because we want to give you guys really good, accurate tests. So when we test clubs out, we want you to know that the data is right and is fair. And I think doing tests like this is only going to help us do that. So if you've got any questions about Trackman, about GC Quad, please let us know.
This is really
James is, I think he needs to go and have a stiff drink and think about
whiskey.
think about what he's going to do moving forward. But really interesting.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. I hope you enjoyed that video. Look out for more videos at the Golf Shack Academy. Like us on Facebook, send us a tweet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.